Okay.
You're locked into the Hal Sparks radio program, Mega Worldwide.
Oh my gosh. So we'll get to the my balloon theories. Never mind the fact that China has spy satellites over the United States. And obviously they were becoming increasingly frustrated with the lack of intel they were getting from those things because A, we know they are there. And so we know to close the drapes when they drift over, and they're not going to retask them. Before we even start this whole thing about like, why would they use a balloon instead of a satellite? I would like to remind everyone that the Chinese have a space program that they have not used in years. Insofar as I know, there hasn't been a successful launch since COVID. And satellites, some of them go up and stay up. Some of them go up and fall down. And some of them you have to, put new ones up because the old ones don't work anymore because whoever you're spying on has figured out how they work and has either stopped them from working on that particular thing or blocked them because of where they are. And you have to reposition or retask them, and you don't have the means and wherewithal to do that with the old ones, so you need to put a new one up that you have more control over. And the Chinese, quite frankly, their space program, don't let Interstellar fool you, the Martian fool you. They're not there. It's a lot of it is for show. So
oh boy.
Yeah, there's a reason why they may be sending balloons because their satellites stopped working entirely. They also just supposedly there's a second one tracking over South America right now, and the Canadians also saw one. So I think they just tested a bunch and then went like, where are they going? Where are they going? Where are they going? Where are they going? like they were gonna what if we put these spy things up? The funny thing is, they said they got loose. They're for civilian use, and then they drifted away. And we're like, that's a spy. That's a spy balloon. It is complete. Listen to me on this. As someone who's traveled extensively in China and dealt with the CCP in person, it is entirely possible that the Chinese government floated spy balloons to spy on their own people, and then they started drifting. And then they went, oh, okay, well, since it's drifting, we might as well move it over here. It is entirely possible. It's also entirely possible that they just sent them up and don't care where they went and are just gathering slapdash whatever is underneath them. So it is complete crap that they are civilian use only and that they're just weather balloons. That is categorical nonsense. The Chinese government does not gather weather data unless it has military usage or population control usage. There is no bifurcation of that knowledge point. If you think our corporations are in bed with the military industrial complex and I don't know, Raytheon tracks how much water Coca-Cola is using or some, fantasy that these folks have, they got nothing on the Chinese government. It's mandated. If the Chinese military, if you make T-shirts in China through a Chinese company that prints the T-shirts, the Chinese Defense Ministry can come in anytime they want and say, we're taking over. We're going to put something in the ink. Whatever they want to do. I don't, God knows, little RFID trackers in your ring shirts, your retro ring shirt. We're like, hey, this is great. It says Stranger Things on it. Turns out you're being tracked. No, do I think they're doing that? No, but they could. They absolutely, with every business, even at the most absurd, they could walk in any day. Imagine if the United States was such that the Pentagon could just take over Mar-a-Lago just because they wanted to. They could just walk into, like in the middle of CPAC, just go, everybody sit down. You're all deputized and you have to go snitch on a family member. And if you don't bring us back one family member that's insufficiently conservative, we throw you in jail. That's a real thing. That's
insane.
Yeah, it is precisely that. So in general, it's the idea that this is a harmless balloon is goofy. But again, what else are they going to say? What else? what's their response? Yeah, it was a military satellite, and I'd do it again. See, like, of course they're going to say that was. I don't understand what your problem is. That was, that was a total. We were having a kid's birthday party. It was a surveillance party / gender reveal, and
I can't wait for that thing to pop.
Yeah. Well, that leads me to the other thing. Way to do a transition there, Johnny Million. So here's my theory, and I'm sticking to it.
All right.
Oh, I see. That's what that does. That's the garble. Okay, I can't. I was going to bring up a piece of audio, and that. Can you hear me? Did I go away?
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
That's all right. Apparently there's a loop happening somewhere that I have no control over. So that I'm going to fix later on, and I won't be trying that again. But in the meantime, there is my theory about the balloon white. First of all, why not pop it? The easiest reason is because deflating it and letting it go to the ground or capturing it some other way, basically waiting till it gets over the Atlantic or one of the Great Lakes and then doing it. Well, it's over land right now, and right now it's over Missouri. So the DOD and Homeland Security and all these are tracking it right now, and as soon as it reaches a body of water where it can land and we can recover it, then we'll shoot it down. That's what's basically going to happen. The funny thing about everybody immediately jumping in and going, we got to shoot this down. It's got to go. It's gotta, like, shoot it down. I don't even know why we're being allowed. Like the Don Jr. level of panic. Trump actually, all caps, shoot down the balloon. That was it. Yeah. That was the whole thing. And my instant response was fairly simple. It was, what if it's full of pathogens? What if one of their ways of protecting their stuff when they fly it over other countries to dissuade them from doing that is it's just full of anthrax? It wouldn't be hard. It wouldn't be difficult at all. What if it's full of fentanyl? How about that? Just go with some other, the main boogeyman of the right currently. Then you've popped it over populated areas. Then what? What then? What are you then responsible for the first attack? Now, don't get me wrong. They obviously wouldn't. They're not going to do that for that very reason. But also, they wouldn't be responsible for the first attack because, if you'll recall, the right believes that the Chinese attacked us. Not the government, the Chinese, just in general. Not just the people, but the cuisine. The Chinese food attacked us with COVID as a bioweapon. And again, if you believe that, if you even think that, then that means unequivocally that Donald Trump presided over the greatest bioweapon attack in the history of the world and certainly the nation. And his response was to say the leader of that country that attacked us was very professional and sell them all of our beef, pork, corn, and soybeans. So, everybody needs to get off of Chamberlain's case. Hitler never got such a deal. So that's my favorite kind of drop point to work out when people bring that up, when they're like, the Chinese attacked us with a bioweapon. You do realize that if that's true, Trump aided and abetted them, like
pretty much
on an extraordinary level. So that said, they're capturing it and looking at the level of tech that you're dealing with is the primary thing. Now, also, to be abundantly clear, the three planes that are tracking it from the Air Force, all three of them have the technology to effectively scan every signal coming in and out of that device. And the only reason they need to even crack it open is to look at any storage it would have. Like what device they're using to store stuff. That's it. So, in general, they know what the Air Force knows what they're doing, And the panic attack is performative even on the Republican side. They know this. They know all of this stuff. And by the way, the higher ranking the Republican that is squealing, like Ted Cruz or somebody, the senators, you can kind of excuse the idiocy of somebody like Marjorie Taylor Greene because she's relatively new. I wouldn't, because if you've been a congressperson for more than 6 months, you know more about a lot of this stuff than almost anyone, certainly any pedestrian. But any senator who's clamoring about this is selling something. That they are politicking on national security the same way they say Democrats do all the time. They know this. I know this. They know this. You know what I'm saying? This is obvious. There was a guy yesterday who posted online a picture of like Montana, Wyoming, in that area, and there were like red areas where the active military, where the active nuke sites were, and black marks where the inactive former nuclear sites were, and then gray areas where the military live bases were. And I was like, why the Chinese have to send a balloon over to find out where stuff is if you could just look on Twitter at an illustration? You get me? So anyways, the other thing is, and I have another theory about the balloon itself, which might even involve a little bit of our own government tattletaling on the Chinese in a material way. We'll be back right after this. It's the House Sparks Radio program, Mega Worldwide.